This is my project for system dynamic and controls. I'm going to be covering input lag and input lag and analyzing the factors that go into input lag in regards to televisions. So input lag, in simplest terms, is the amount of time that elapses between an image being generated by a source and that image appearing on screen. So you want low input lag, basically. Input lag can also be defined as latency. It is, again, the time delay between an electrical input, for example, pressing a button on a controller and seeing the event occur on screen. That time between those two actions is known as input lag. So the purpose of my project is to analyze the factors within the televisions that can affect input lag. These factors will include image processing features and resolution. So input lag will be important not to the mass market or the main customer. It'll be important to uh, customers who play video games. And the reason why is because when you're playing video games, you're always having an input into your television at all times. And you want that response, you want to press a button and see the response on the screen as quickly and snappy as possible. So this is a good graphic that shows you have the input, then you have the video processing, and then you have the actual input being outputted on the display. So through the research in my paper, I found a very useful chart that it shows the lowest input lags of televisions on the market down to the highest of the televisions that are currently on the market. And this is up to date for 2018. Um, a good amount is generally below 30 milliseconds. That is when you'll feel everything is relatively snappy, no lag. There will still be lag, but that is good enough. That's adequate for most gamers. This chart, if you can take a look at the 1080p at 60 hertz um, column, this shows that the LG UK 6300 has the lowest input lag of all televisions on the market. And what this chart is it is showing the input lag of all televisions. I went into this project thinking that the TV resolution mattered, um, but I was immediately disproven of that. As you can see in the column that says resolution, the top 13 TVs on the market overall, this is all TVs that are all being mass produced. The top 13 TVs for lowest input lag for native 4K resolution. What does this mean? This means that we can scratch one factor off the list, that is resolution. It is a common theory that the lower the resolution, the lower the input lag. So you would think that with a 1080p resolution, it would be lower input lag because there are less pixels to push. There's less processing power required, theoretically. However, as time goes on, as the consumer goes towards 4K, the the components within the 4K TVs, they're better. They're more optimized. They are made for pretty much everything when it comes to picture quality and for that subset of uh, customers that are looking just to play games on a TV. This chart shows, I got it from the same website. It only shows the 1080p TVs on the market. And as you can see, the most optimized 1080p TV is made by Vizio. And if you can look again in that 1080p 60 hertz column, the lowest it returns is 24.9 milliseconds. Compare that to the lowest on the overall table, which this table includes 4K and 1080p. The lowest is LG UK 6300, and it's 11.5. So it's not even close. Um, Another aspect that affects input lag is the image processing and the features of the specific television. So after doing some research on my paper, I found out that one of the common features of each television include noise reduction and dynamic contrast. Turning those settings off often lowers the input lag. You push a button on the controller, you will see it occur. You see the action occur snappier on the screen. Um, Another factor is the actual console itself that you're hooking up to your television. You want it set at a progressive resolution instead of an interlaced. Um, so most consoles, they have either 720p or 480p. Those are the resolutions that you want to make sure it's set at. And this is from my specific experiment. I used a Nintendo Wii, and it did have 480p and 40i. I did set it to that, and I did get lower input lag. Um, and more info was that more info on that is in my report. Another factor is the controls that are actually hooked up to the consoles. Uh, because of the actual hardware itself, it might include some travel distance in the button, and that travel distance includes input lag. It's different for each controller. It's just about the geometry, the material. Each one is different. So this table goes through the stock input lag of each of the major controllers on the market. And we found that the DualShock Blue for Bluetooth controller had the lowest 2.8 milliseconds. Um, but this is a very average general chart though. But the purpose of it is to, just to show that this is a whole other aspect in determining and analyzing the input lag when it comes to playing video games on TV. Most people don't, think about their controller, the stock controller that comes with console. So in conclusion, um, it is possible. The trend is going towards lowering and lowering the input lag with each year, each generation of televisions. But that might come at, side effects of reducing the image quality, getting rid of those noise reductions, the motion blur, the fancy motion blur that you see, the opera effect. Reducing those would be needed to reduce the input lag. However, the average input lag of a television, as we saw on the chart before, was so low that, the human eye can only detect a certain amount of frames that the image is processing and putting on your screen per second. So what I concluded is that input lag for in 2018 is pretty optimized, and it is not affected by resolution. So a customer can be happy and go out to Target and Walmart and purchase their television set with 4K and not have to worry about lag in mind. So thank you for giving me the time of day to watch my presentation. Enjoy.